Hello, greetings. So, this is about self discovery, finding the truth. Science telling me that I'm Radharani. Now, my religion was very dear to me. Shia Islam, the sacrifice of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, unparalleled. And so, I've come quite far from that now. Listening to this person, poor guy, what's his name again? I think it's Abdullah on TED Talks, using logic and science to explain faith and all this. Faith, very good points put forward. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. I know the first name is Abdullah. I think he's Abdullah. But I'll be quick on this. So, haphazard. I really feel sorry for those people who spent years and years. They put their whole lives, some of our religious scholars, Shias, in this, their blood and sweat, on the Quran and all this. We have many hadith books, Bihar al-Anwar. This is from a Shia point of view. And Allama Majlisi's other ones, Hayatul Qulub, many years. So with due respect to them, what recently, I'll just put this briefly, succinctly, that although I haven't done my lifelong research on the Quran and all, I just believed in my religion. How I believed in it was that I saw Imam Hussein's unparalleled sacrifice, and the etiquettes and manners and the prayers coming forth. And why shouldn't we believe in God, this supreme power? There surely is a supreme power and things like that. So on that I believed. And in the instincts that Imam says, one of our Imams from the Shia, 12 for Shia, that when you're drowning, you call for help. If you cannot swim, right, and you're drowning, if there's a storm or something has happened and you can't help yourself, then while you're drowning, you call on someone. So that which you call on instinctively, that is God's. Your instincts tell you that there is someone, a supreme power. We have faith, we have to believe in, that a miracle can occur. Someone can save us. And that is God, the power beyond us. Now, yes, like this person says that he's put a lot of his life on this and on Islam, finding out Quran through logic, science. But please bear with me. I have these blocks and confusions because of some allergy due to, since a long time, I get myself confused, but I will try. Things were quite clear before I came, but now since I'm kind of tired and sad, very sad. So I'll just put the points out that the evidence, Quran says find evidence, give evidence. Well, then in Surah Najm it says that will you dispute with him? He is not mad. Your companion is not mad. Will you dispute with him? Do you consider the gods Almanat, Lat, Alat, and Alat. Sorry for the wrong pronunciation, if it is. So will you dispute with him? When people were asking him, then the God is saying that you are saying, is he crazy? He's not Majnoon or crazy or possessed. So they thought that perhaps that is another thing. That's my opinion of going back into history. But surely there's a verse there. Will you dispute with him? Your companion is not mad, or he has not gone astray. So some people who questioned Rasulullah, this kind of ayat came. And then if you are thinking of, so Imam Ali, I know in Najil Balagha, in one of his sermons, has said, or letters, excuse me, that there are some seemingly contradictory verses in the Quran, but when you put one there and another there, then when they come together, you read them together, like some verses in some surah, another verses in another surah, that will explain. So there in one surah, it seems contradictory to another verse. And then there's a third verse that kind of makes it not contradictory, harmonizes and explains. So there's no contradiction in the Quran, but seemingly there may be. But Imam Ali has said seemingly contradictory verses. The Najil Balagha English translation that I had, the book in my with me in Karachi, I read this in Najil Balagha. Another thing is that evidence, well, another thing is don't, in science, he said here in TED Talks, I'm sorry I'm saying, bringing this poor person in. I feel really sorry for him, like I do for myself and all those. A part of me feels very, very sorry and sad that we really believed in Islam, and shockingly, very shocking, what has come on me is that now my instincts are saying that it's not a true religion, because my mind has started to think that in other ways that science. So it says, do not do not recite or give this quickly, recite this quickly. Maybe it told someone else not to recite this quickly, the Quran or Prophet Muhammad. But when it was coming on him, then he could have explained if this is superseding science. And like, for example, I was thinking which example to give. Well, I can only give Hinduism, like they have numbers. It's very scientific what they believe in, sacred truths and all this. And then they explain why 24 hours in a day and all this, right? So, like Amit, Dr. Amit Goswami came up with the quantum physics. So for them, it's like they can always, they went into this, he went into this physics and all this of the Western side, and then he had a breakdown. So he had a crisis about his life and his profession, in his life about his profession. So he came up with quantum physics. If only at that time when Rasulullah was explaining, when the verses were coming down, like the sun has its own light. So if we say, like this person has said in TED Talks, this Muslim, that it supersedes Islam, science, sorry. Islam supersedes science, the Quran supersedes science, and it is beyond. So if it is beyond, then at least some of us Muslims could have had readily be able to give evidence. When it says give evidence, then in this also we should have evidence ready for the science of today, modern science, like quantum physics, M theory, string theory, whatever it is. So we go to Imam Jafar Sadiq, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, our sixth Imam. Ismaili is Imam too, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. And I read, that he's given things about reincarnation that some of us 12 Shias don't believe in, to his, disciple. And so how can we miss out on so much information? So I have this book in Karachi again. I had this book on Imam Jafar Sadiq, who explains and gives some kind of a lot of information about how this works, and on science, on time. Imam Jafar Sadiq has given, like now I've been through Sadhguru, so he was explaining Kala. What is Kala Bhairava? The god Shiva. Kala. No, it is a form of another, but Kala is time. Sorry, he's not Shiva, but Kala is another aspect of Shiva, which is time. Perhaps I should not do this. Like I don't like to explain because I cannot. But there is a Kala, and Kala is the god of time. But Imam Jafar Sadiq wonderfully explains, and he says how gravity. He explains about time, that time is like distance between two known events. Two known, not like perfectly explains. Like people could not in anywhere explain what time was. They can't explain consciousness in the sense that even give a proper definition. So there were people, Imam Jafar Sadiq, you could read this book on his very rarely found. I found it in Karachi. What's it? He's a great scientist, and all. You can find out of his time, Imam Jafar Sadiq. So here, I'll try to bring that book out. Post it here on my profile. Excuse me. Throat is kind of going dry. But, like when Rasulullah, when these ayats were coming down and they were asking for evidence, like the Quran itself, someone just pointed to me out, a Muslim brother. It says provide evidence. So why not scientifically provide some evidence? So we have all these wars coming, and it was quite an evolutionary. It was a revolutionary thing, Islam, for the pagan Arabs and all. Just imagine, it was so quick. Like we are told. So it wasn't an evolution, Islam. Although if you can see through Hazrat Adam and then, that was an evolutionary, Abrahamic religion, if you consider it that way. But if you consider just Prophet Muhammad, the seal, not even the seal of the prophets, but just that Islam was very evolutionary for the pagan Arabs. the Jews used to live in Medina, and they were side by side with these pagan Arabs in Makkah. They didn't fight with one another. So we know that Jews lived in Medina because Rasulullah migrated from Makkah to Medina, and the Jews welcomed him and gave him refuge and all this against the pagan Arabs in Makkah. And so I'm thinking, when the verses were coming down about this, the sun going down muddy, or the moon in the muddy, waters and all, and how, so it should have provided proper evidence, scientifically, logically, and explained. There should have been explanation. We just say that Imam Ali, at first I wouldn't say this, but today I'm saying this. So please forgive me with due respect to those that Imam Ali was the Imam afterwards, the light bearer of Prophet Muhammad and God, hence God. So Imam Ali should have explained all these. If Rasulullah didn't have the time, he was politically involved in all these wars and all that, which were the disbelievers were giving him a very hard time. So I haven't, only from one Imam I've received some scientific knowledge and reasoning, and that's a book from Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, English translation. Now I haven't done my research, gone to Iran and found books in Arabic through coming from my Imams. I've read a few logic reason, what is that? The Book of Reason from Al-Kafi, about who God is and all that. So so they could have explained, I have so many questions. So the Quran itself, without taking my Imams and all, even if I take my Imams, maybe everything in the Quran verses have been explained, and then scientists can go and see if it tallies with their findings about the sun, moon, planets, galaxies, planets. When it is it's come from God. It has to be complete, full religion with no contradictions, and the proof of evidence is on Prophet Muhammad. So I'm just saying that they should have sat there and explained it to the pagan Arabs, that the reason why this is this way, like Muji Baba is now explaining about pure awareness, our true nature. And so, but if he was saying right now, for you, to someone who stood up in his Sangha, that right now for you the information, this lawyer was there, will not be, you want information, but I'm giving you this true thing. But Muji Baba is not bringing in the Quran and telling us. So I'm just wondering, I've had such a religious crisis. I'm in it even now, going back and forth, and thinking about feminine Shakti, power. That will come later, that's another story. So I just wanted to make this point, get my poor brother out of his, still he thinks that, I don't know how he's thinking that there are no contradictions in the Quran, seemingly about the evidence. If I'm a woman, I bring evidence, they will not even believe in my evidence. because you need two. A woman is worth two. No, yeah, two women, one male witness. Or like what's the word? I've forgotten now. Equal to a woman. One woman is equal to two male Muslim males. I mean, so sorry, I'm kind of. This is quite strange. Yeah. So if I give it, if let's say I start giving out signs, I'm not claiming that I know everything and all this. And but if I do claim it, and if I say that this Quran is from God and it supersedes and precedes science, then I'm supposed to have readily information, like even equations of Einstein ready, and everything readily to give to this modern science, because it also says the Quran is for all times. So I'm asking my Imam to come and please, still waiting for our, how come we don't have an answer, and our Imam is supposed to give us, the Muslims, Mu'mineen, Mu'minat. Okay, so his representatives, I know there are some Shia religious scholars, and those scholars in the book Quran should have all this, right? Evidence available. So when they go to, scientists should come to us and should have, anyways, we're supposed to be very humble and all this. So there are so many ex-Muslims now questioning, people are questioning this, and without bringing emotions and all, we should deal with our religious crisis, because it's really me having a religious crisis. And who will answer them in a scientific manner and explain to them that, yes, what happens to, because this was spoken in metaphorically, or written, brought down from Gabriel. Like Sayyid Yusuf was telling me how the Quran came about, how Israfil or some angel was reading these verses, because God doesn't, in form, God doesn't exist for us. So the verses where it was in the high place, high mean not high, but a very like position, high, not in a position form, but in very like without position, if you say high place. So some angel was reading those verses, and then through the forehead of that angel, then Jibrail was reading the verses and bringing it to only Jibrail, Hazrat Jibrail, the angel, Gabriel, archangel, could bring it down on Muhammad's heart. And the reader was some other angel, and then from his forehead it would be revealed, and then Gabriel would take those verses, read those verses, and somehow like this he was explaining to me, I think. But don't take me on my word, like the way I'm explaining it. I'm just giving an example. I've forgotten the name of the angel also, and how I'm just in a haphazard manner telling you. So this is so angels, and then God says in the Quran, I've shown you that He says for you sons. So why did He all the time choose male angels? Like they are explained. He didn't choose female angels. Or then He says that angels, we say that angels don't have male or female. So then in Surah Maryam, an angel, at least, see, it says that a male angel. He looked completely like a man. He was a complete man, perfect man. Surah Maryam, it's in the Quran ayat. So all the males, angels, but we say that they don't have angels. So it's so confusing for me right now. Like after when I came back from London, I really sincerely wanted to follow my religion, and lifelong this thing research I could not afford. Life is important. So once you, the basic thing is that if humanity is in danger, then I should have that, not selfishness, but that selflessness that God should have given me to go out and help humanity and forget myself if I am such a believer of. And Imam Hussain was my everything. I mean, yes, we are supposed to give our everything and follow the way Imam Hussain alayhi salam followed. I gave up my teacher for this because the blame was coming on my religion and I couldn't take it. It came on my parents, they've spoiled me, and before that my love is foolish. But when it came on my religion, that was it for me. In 1989, August, end of August, 1989, yes. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'm self-discovery and just going haphazardly like this, and I don't want to waste my entire life reading a book, the Quran, how sacred it, no matter how sacred it may be, and reading hadiths and all this. I just believe that God should have given us insight, also the power, the filter, the scientific evidence. Like now in Hinduism, they say sound. Sound, how important is sound, in the creation or manifestation of things. So the ear has the Om word. In Sanskrit, it's like written Om. So anyways, like that, right? There should be. And then we have our own things that, yes, La ilaha illallah, backbones, God knows. Like there's Muhammad and written in our bones. So like that we should have evidence. The anatomy of a human being should bear witness and provide evidence. So we can explain. I think I have been a sincere person, wanting to believe, wanting evidence. I cannot believe without evidence. Where I came from, where I'm going. I know I came from my mother's stomach and all this, but yes, I need to reflect on these things, but these things, other religions, Hinduism, can give us knowledge and at the same time evidence. Show us where we came from. If we are scientists, but how would you explain it to a lay person? So, yeah, how did pure awareness come? It didn't come, it didn't go. It is, it just is. It is life, it is all sustaining. Like we say, Allama Rashid Turabi. So we believe in this God who is all sustaining. कोई ताकत और कोई कुव्वत सिवाय ज़ात वाजिब के नहीं है. So उसी पे तवक्कुल कर रही हूँ जो हय्युल क़य्यूम है. हय्युल क़य्यूम है, ever living, ever self-sustaining. So this is the thing. And then how did we come about? Through pure awareness. That is my question the power, Shakti now. So I'm going through all that Indians, and there's a Russian, British teacher also, Igor. Sorry, I cannot pronounce his last name. Going through that, but the greatest is Muji Baba had to just tear the veils. Otherwise, even going through Hindus, Kriya Yoga, it would have taken me years. And here I am, I was so weak. I was like, how am I supposed to stand up, sit up for so many hours in meditation? Muji Baba, thank God, came, and that is a great thing. What Muji, I can always go back to that, the pointings, when I'm so confused about Shaktis and Radha Rani and all this love and all these other things. So that the believers, Muslims could say these are your imaginary things you and your fathers have created. Like forefathers in the Quran it says, right? That the pagan Arabs followed their forefathers without thinking traditions, what their traditions have brought about. So this is it. I think I'm going to, I hope, sometimes I don't say the proper way, sorry. I'm going to end this. Yes, you can see how tired I am, and I'm holding my hand on this mobile. Thank you so much. All the best. Self-discovery and truth seekers, to all the truth seekers. Thank you. I just hope I don't die before I find the whole truth.